Hi there, this is Tania Marie. This is our last day in Moab, Utah. Actually, our last day in Utah, because we'll be moving on to Colorado. And as you can see, this time I'm doing this video in our car, which seems sort of appropriate. I chose it because it's windy and colder outside, and where we are right now, there's a lot of people moving around in vehicles and ATVs and motorcycles, so I just wanted to have a quiet space. And I'm always reminded in my journey of how much my car was that meditative space for me. It was the place that I processed things, and it was my own little sacred bubble when I didn't have a space to call my own. So that feels appropriate for this message, because it's coming from a very deep place, and I'm not exactly sure what's going to come through. I just know the theme that I feel I want to talk about today, and it also feels like an appropriate day, because today is the 8th anniversary of my sweet Nestor's departure from this physical world and moving on to her eternalness. And there have been a lot of people I know who've lost loved ones and animal soul guides and best friends in their lives. And so I wanted to speak around that, about loss and sadness and the mourning process. And it felt like a way to honor Nestor. And I asked her today on the hike, while I was connecting with her, to bring through the message that I could share with others to help in any way with those pains and deep, deep sadnesses that you go through in these times. And I'm not going to tell you that you should turn a cheek to sadness and quickly try to get to the other side and find the joy, because I believe there's alchemy. There's alchemy in sadness just as much as there is in the blissful states that people want to experience. Sadness can be bliss, because every emotion is all-encompassing. Within one, there is all of them. There's not a day that goes by that there is not death and birth happening in every single second, in many ways, and not just the death and birth that we think of in human form, but the death and birth of ideas, the death and birth of plants and animals, and even just the moment. It no longer is. After you've gone through it, you're in a new one. So sadness is just as valuable and important of an experience, and I believe that the mourning process is something you don't want to run away from, and I encourage it, and I encourage you to allow it to move through you in the way that's meant to be, because that's the way you're going to experience the beauty, the expansiveness, the totality of life, of all that is by allowing yourself to feel things to the depths that you can. And I know that can be scary, because you think you're never going to get out of it, and it's going to take you down into this cesspool that'll drag you, like a tar pit. But it's not the case. If you really allow yourself to immerse in the expression of the energy wanting to move through you, you do get to the other side. And the other side doesn't mean that it eradicates that feeling, but it helps you to transmute it. And it helps you to see and feel and experience that it's okay. It's okay to feel that sadness. And through the sadness, you'll simultaneously feel the joy. Through the mourning, you simultaneously celebrate. Through the pain, you feel pleasure. It's all there all at once. And when you allow yourself to go to the depths, you experience all of that. It's truth. It really is. And I'll be the first to say that mourning isn't something that ends. As I said, since death and birth is constantly happening, it's always there. It's never going to be to the depth that it is in the beginning, but I constantly mourn. I mourn my beautiful Nestor. There's days when that sadness comes over me more than other days. Today would be one of those. But you find that it's such a soulful process, and there's nothing more wonderful than to be able to feel that kind of love, the love that takes you so deeply past the bliss into all emotions at once. And it's really beautiful to be able to have that kind of love where you can feel pain and you can feel pleasure. That's life. That's the human experience. That's what we long for when we are souls wanting to come into this experience, is to know that, to know the longings, to know what it feels like to really love to those depths, the darkness, the light. It is so amazing, and I got to experience that when I lost Nestor. It happened at my own hand, not my fault, of course, but I aided her process. I won't, explain the whole story. I've written about it. I got to hear her scream when she passed, and it was the most haunting scream I'll never forget. And it was it's beyond beautiful. It was everything all at once. It was scary. It was hurtful. It was tremendously magnificent. It was expansive. It was tormenting. It was blissful. And it should have been. It should have been that, because she was releasing her physical form. And there's pain in that. Yes, physically. And there's also pain in missing what that would be, to no longer have that experience. But then there was also the sigh of relief and release to go back into her form again, where she was formless and expansive and could be all things, not just the rabbit that she was, although she was much more, but she could give of herself in ways that fragile body would not allow her to. And yet in that fragile body, she gave to me and so many others in ways that she couldn't in spirit form. So it's a beautiful process to know all of that. And it is only in death that we know the amazing gift of life. I will always remember that moment. And like I said, I don't believe the mourning ever ends, because the mourning also helps us to celebrate. The mourning helps us to know love. The mourning helps us to honor all processes and to realize the value and beauty in every emotion. The mourning honors those that pass, and it celebrates those that decide to come in. Sadness is not something to be scared of. Mourning, allow it just to be, to move through you. So, I'm sending a lot of love to everyone. I don't know if this message means something or not. I'm just sharing from my heart and sharing whatever it is that's coming through my connection with Nestor right now. And I'm also feeling like I'm supposed to do a sound channeling right now. I don't know exactly what that will be either. But I feel like it will be celebration and mourning. Perhaps when you listen to it, it will bring you to some place of healing, or at least a deeper understanding. So when you listen to it, just let it penetrate to your heart, to your cells, to your DNA, to awaken the sleeping parts, to realize your power and the power of emotion and the power to feel. When you allow yourself to feel and allow yourself to be all of these experiences, that is when you come into your power. That is when you will awaken the parts of you that have been latent. And you will empower yourself. So I'm just going to tune in and see what wants to come through. And then I probably won't say anything. I'll just end it with however the song ends. Lots of love.